The Spin-off Podcast Network.
This is Kiwi is back for a brand new season with more inspiring kōrero from special guests including rugby player, father and role model TJ Perenara.
My family bring me joy. Rugby brings me joy too, but it's not the same joy as my family brings me.
And global dancer and choreographer Kirsten Dodgen.
For some reason, people think I'm very intimidating.
Listen to the new season of This is Kiwi, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network in collaboration with KiwiBank. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Talofa Lover. I'm Madeline Chapman, editor at The Spin-off. If you have the means, consider supporting our high-quality journalism by becoming a Spin-off member. Sign up now at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
The Real Pod is brought to you by our good friends at Nando's. They've got restaurants across Aotearoa, and if you order through the Nando's app, you can collect Perry Perks points to redeem for delicious rewards. Hit nandos.co.nz to learn more and start earning.
3, 2, 1, lift off.
What? You can't say lift off and then clap. You have to do it again now. That was an extra beat.
3, 2, 1, clap.
No, you don't say clap. You just pause. This is amazing. Are you recording this? This should be, this absolute botching of a countdown from 3 needs to be our intro. Come on, Jane. I think you can do it this time.
Okay.
Third time lucky.
3, 2, 1.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Kia ora e homa, welcome to The Real Pod. I'm a mess. My name's Jane. I'm joined by Duncan Grieve.
You're
Hi, Dunk.
a mess in a lovely hat though, so...
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a walking museum exhibit at the moment. I'm wearing Chris Parker's, flappy hat is the best way I can describe it. A very pale salmon colour. Famous for its appearance. It's like a whole extra character on Celebrity Treasure Island, New Zealand.
It's kind of
Don't need to say the New Zealand again. Don't need to say the New Zealand.
It's like the co-winner of Celebrity Treasure Island in a way.
It is, and I want to keep it, and Duncan won't let me.
I won't not let you. I just worry about, if you lost that, that's probably a top 3 exhibit. Jane is currently sniffing it, which is...
It smells good, It seems like it shouldn't. It seems like it should smell disgusting.
Did he wash it, do you think?
No, it's got like some sort of scent on it, like a parfum. Anyway, this is The Real Pod. We've got some real news, we've got some real life chat, and most importantly, we've got a really lovely sponsor in Nando's, purveyors of chicken and other fine delicacies, lots of veggie options, and they're roaring away in your various alert levels. So make sure you go to nandos.co.nz to see which Nando's restaurants are open, which ones are available for takeaway, which ones are available for delivery. And I personally can't wait to the in-principle decision on the 29th of November in which Auckland will be able to walk into a Nando's and eat some chook.
It's weird that Ardern did not emphasise that. I feel like that would have convinced a significantly higher proportion of the population to rush and get vaccinated if they knew that was waiting for them, just walking into a Nando's, like the old times.
That should have been their campaign from the get-go.
Yeah.
Also, if you think about it, it would be quite good if the sign language interpreters were doing some secret messaging to that community, to those who can read sign language.
Just some bonus information regarding Nando's.
Just some bonus material regarding Nando's.
Great.
If anyone's got any hookups to those folks, perhaps we can get some secret messaging through. Right, the other things of note are that we have got a Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/RealPod Corner. The Corns are the nicest people in the universe. They are in the midst of sending out some Secret Santa gifts. Someone has made what do you call it? Little hanging... What are those things where they've got little, the words escape me, like a piece of string with little flags on it? What are they called?
Bunting?
Bunting.
Yeah,
it's bunting. Thanks, Tia here.
Emma
I take
Bunting.
back what I said about you earlier. Okay, yeah, bunting. And it's got all little tiny pictures of Real Pod significant imagery. It's very, very cute.
They're too much, eh? Like the hand stitched corny Christmas tree decorations. God, we're really going well with our brains at the moment, eh?
Yeah. And also, don't forget we've got those enamel pins. They are in the country, Duncan. So they're going to be winging their way out soon. We just need to sort out the backing cards are at the printers. And then they'll be coming to you if you've ordered one. If you haven't, make sure you go to our shop. What's the URL?
spinoff.co.nz/shop.
And that is why he runs the company.
Shop.
Let's get into some real news.
Shop.thespinoff.co.nz. I think just keep trying things and eventually you'll make it. That's sort of how the internet works.
Okay, in the real news, the Block NZ houses have been sold, or have they? We don't know. The auction's happened, but it's all being kept stum.
I'm shocked that it's managed to stay stum, just because, you know, if you buy a house, it's a very significant event in your life, and people, you know, multiple people will know that you're intending to buy the house and they'll be able to get a read on you. Information wants to be free. The news organisations would love, you know, like they've got an active incentive, like a powerful incentive to report the news to, like, depress the ratings for one of their competitors that they compete for commercial revenue. Like it's wild that it hasn't made it out. But speaking as someone who wants to finally complete the journey of the Block, which, let's remember, started in like February 2020 this season.
No.
This is ridiculous. And
it's just insane.
I want to know how it ends, and I don't want it to be spoiled.
I mean, I guess when you think about it, when you look at Celebrity Treasure Island, Chris was sitting on that secret for a long, long time. These guys only have to hold it in for a week.
But it's just a lot more. It's a lot more people having to hold it in, and like the celebrity reality shows, right? Like they're used to holding secrets. They've all got a vested interest in it. The crew, anyone else who knew, they just sit with secrets all the time. Homeowners, it's just quite a different thing, and it's like I say, it's a big deal for them.
Presumably, they all had to sign little contracts.
No doubt, and those are scary. An NDA.
Yeah. So we will find out when. When is it?
Sunday, 7 p.m. 3.
That is so exciting. Is it? Yes, it is.
It is. God,
is it going to be a Zoom? It's a virtual one, eh?
Well, it's going to look horrible. I'm assuming it's just they hit record on a Zoom and it's just Mark Richardson sort of glitching in and out, yelling a lot. Hopefully Michael's one of the auctioneers.
I really feel like it would be a lovely thing if this whole kind of understood drop in production value of everything during the hard times just continues. Like everyone just lowers their standards, because then I think we'd be right up there in terms of quality.
I like this.
You know?
Yeah. So the Real Pod, if we can just hold the line and not make a parallel slip ourselves, which is a huge if, then I like it. We suddenly become sort of like breakfast radio caliber.
Exactly. We're top tier.
Which has always been our aspiration. You know, if Jason Winstanley, the new head of radio at NZME, replacing Wendy Palmer, sorry, this is the fold. I know you're not listening, but if you were listening, Duncan, Alex and Jane to replace Flinny and whoever else on whatever station he's currently on, 2028.
When you said, I know you're not listening, you were talking to Jason Winstanley, eh? But I wasn't listening. I thought you'd caught me out. Sorry.
No, that's
oh God,
that's fine.
The truth always comes out.
It does.
Actually, I know. I just want to clarify though. I'd prefer like a day's slot to breakfast.
The thing is, I just
get up in the morning.
I don't think you get the big bucks. Like Radio Peaks is a format between 6 and 9, and everything else is a sort of a slow decay. So if you're on the evenings or day, I just don't think you make the big bucks.
How about this? World first. Entirely pre-recorded breakfast radio show.
Well, I don't think that is a world first, because I'm pretty sure that at least, like, say, Matt and Jerry and those Hauraki people certainly record subsequent parts of their show, like the last some proportion of it, and just spool it out because they know what the songs are going to be. So But I think that an entire pre-record where you can have no relationship to the news, like a radio version of the cafe, you're quite unmoored.
I love it. You'd be like, you could do your weather report and be just like, just look out your window. That's what the weather's doing, you know?
Yeah.
And in the news today, Google it. You know? Don't make us do all the hard work. We're here for the real news.
Hey, before we continue in that, can I just get a little update on Bake Off? Because I haven't been watching it, but I'm getting a lot of texts about it, and I just want to vibe and a kind of, should I not catch up but just dive on in? Like, help me out here.
I mean, I always recommend catching up. I know if you dedicate like an afternoon on the weekend.
Can't do that.
A gloomy, look out the window on the weekend if it's raining. That's your weather.
That's the weather report on the Real Pod.
It's the weather report, and that's a nice time. That's a nice opportunity to just sit in and watch some Bake Off. It's such a lovely show. It does help fill the hole, the CTI hole, which I'm really feeling. But in terms of just being a nice, easy, comforting watch during lockdown, for those of us who are still locked up inside. And so it's I think the standard's pretty good this year. They've got a whole new location. Like, it's this amazing, it looks like very bougie reception venue, I think, in I don't know where it is. It's in sort of Greater Auckland area. Up on the cliffs, overlooking the sea. It's very dramatic, and it's not a tent. And it's all kitted out with brand new stuff. And it's just, you know, your same old host. You've got Fleischer, who hasn't said unctuous even one time yet.
Okay, that's odd. That's not okay.
Brett Schneider, who continues to be somehow a television host with zero personality and yet perfect for the job. And Hayley and Madeline still doing their thing. And then you've just got this a lovely range of contestants. I don't think there's anyone I don't like.
Is that too cloying? Like, it's good to have someone who's a little bit
There's
off.
one guy who's and I have no idea why I don't even want to say. I'm not going to say. He might listen. There's so many frickin' reality TV adjacent and people who cast and crew from shows who are in the corner now that I feel like I'm gagged.
But you can't do that. Like, we just have to do what we've always done. But I guess it's fine if not to do a drive-by on a show. We're not properly recapping, so you don't get the full range of our emotional relationship with the show. Anyway, I'm gonna do it.
Also, I have no reason not to like this person. So there's no, it feels
this is one of those blind
mean-spirited.
items, like where it's like a 41-year-old Auckland man or a 40-something Auckland man has been arrested for X. Now every 40-something Auckland man is going,
sorry,
it wasn't me. But now all of the men on Bake Off are wondering, am I that one that Jane doesn't like?
So do I throw that guy under the bus to save the others? Is that what I do?
You do you. I just feel like you've made a trap for yourself, and I'm just enjoying sitting here watching you figure out a way out.
It's really awkward. Okay, if you are a man on Bake Off, it's not you. Okay, and but I think you should tune in. It is good.
Okay.
I enjoy it. Some of the bakes and some of the showstoppers have actually been really, really good. A 7-year-old child in New Zealand lockdown has found a 7-leaf clover. It's blown up on Reddit in a small way. Very wholesome. This little girl had been looking for 4-leaf clovers, and imagine that. You're looking for a 4-leaf, and you come up with a 7. They're very rare. 1 in 250 million occurrence.
A 7-leaf feels like it should be. There should be some hardcore clover collectors out there who are like, yeah, that's like the big bucks. That's like
who's tracking the ratio? Who's going around counting them one by one to come up with this 1 in 250 million?
Yeah, that's a great point.
Is that someone's job?
That feels like junk science that no one's really questioned. You just want a number. Like, the stakes are really low. It doesn't really matter if you're orders of magnitude wrong on that. So it's never going to be tested.
Okay, it's true, especially seeing as a Fairley woman also found a 7-leaf clover earlier this year, which seems to completely defy the odds.
A Fairley woman
the 1 in
is,
250.
to be clear, that's a woman from Fairley, not...
Yes. Yes, it is. Okay, an English hairdresser. Have you seen this photo, Duncan?
I love this photo so much. I don't know why.
I know it's always a bit like problematic to have a story in a podcast about a picture, but you need to seek this out. I'm pretty sure if you just go Boris Johnson,
you should explain what it is. What it is first.
No. You explain what it is.
Okay, so basically, I think it's something to do with the great reopening in the UK. A hairdresser, clearly a hairdresser who enjoys the Conservative Party in the UK, has made what they're calling a hair mural of Boris Johnson, and it is like an astounding thing. It looks like it. I'm not sure what the scale is, but it looks like it's mural scale and not anything smaller. And it's entirely made of hair, and it's kind of it's both grotesque and it's sort of
quite clever.
Yeah, and you kind of buy it. And for someone whose hair is really their most iconic sort of visual feature, I actually think there's a cleverness to the conceit as well.
The best bit for me is that she took 2 days. No, actually, there's two best bits. The first is that she took 2 days off of work to do this.
It's all human hair too, which is just so disgusting.
So, lost money on it,
Yeah.
Didn't get paid. Used up some annual leave to work on the project. She says she had well over half a black sack of hair, which I carefully swept up without my clients knowing. Now.
Consent.
I want my hairdresser to sweep up hair. I don't want it left on the floor. So I'm not sure that sweeping it up without the clients knowing. Surely she means I used it without the clients knowing.
That's
right?
That's a great. You've really fact checked her there. Well done.
How would you feel if you were a Liberal who had your hair used in a thank you mural for Boris Johnson? I think I'd be okay with it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you look at it, it's very hard for even the most ardent Corbynite to look at that and have an issue with it, with the sort of artistic integrity of it. And I think it's very much in the eye of the beholder as well. I think you could look at that as someone who loathes Boris Johnson and still take joy from it.
Yeah, and also it's at least they're using their time to do that than something else less, something else more damaging. I don't know. Who's hanging it? Where's it going? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, and,
going up in the salon.
Well, and also the integrity of it. If that thing just sort of starts slowly shedding, then everything's bad everywhere for a long, long time.
Is this lady okay?
Are you looking at it?
Yeah, it's profoundly disturbing.
That's what I mean. It's like a Rorschach test.
I'm really surprised you've got that takeaway, because Duncan and I both looked at it and loved it.
I'm sort of transfixed, but in a horrified sort of way.
I know what I'm getting. I have for Secret Santa this year. I think she's fine. I think she's more than all right.
Yeah.
I think she's a creative genius, and you're not giving her the credit she deserves.
Okay, maybe I'm not ready for it.
You just don't know art when you see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, which story should we do next? I think we should do the steak in the dishwasher. This is such a crock. And Tara's kind of brought up the story and left it in, even though it's fake news, okay? So fake news warning, this didn't really happen the way it sounds like it did. An American journalist, Michael George, reckons he's found the perfect way to cook a medium rare steak, vacuum pack the sucker and chuck it in the dishwasher. And then in brackets and italics it says, fake news, he fried it at the end, which would probably give you a medium rare steak anyway. This makes me madder than it should. So the real story here is that Tara Ward is sitting is she in Dunedin at the moment?
Yeah. She's
sitting in Dunedin absolutely fuming about the fact she's been had by someone who put a steak in their dishwasher. I can only assume that Tara was really excited about trying this out, only to then discover that he fried it to finish it off.
So, I mean, it's basically, using your dishwasher as like a sous vide type device.
All right, no need to get MKR on it.
But I just love the sourcing of the story. Like it's from the Mirror, like a UK red top tabloid, and I just really, really enjoy the way that I have no idea what Tara's methodology for assembling the real news is, but it's very much it's a broad church and some ropey news sites with just absolutely heinous design and UX show up in this thing. But it gets the people what they want.
I had to delete one of the stories. There was a story about a woman who was disappointed when her leather pants sounded like a duck. I mean, it's a great headline, but I couldn't. In the story, I couldn't find the video. I wanted to watch the video, and then I got frustrated, much like Tara in the steak, and so I'd done strike-throughs on the doc on that. I wanted to get the audio for I to include in the show, but I couldn't find it within 30 seconds. I was like, this is madness. It was one of those sites. It was exactly one of those sites. It was just a jumble of fonts and images and colours and lines and weird spacing. But love your work, Tara. It was a nice experience, and I feel like I bonded with you over the dishwasher steak.
Wow.
Do you think that just back to the dishwasher steak just quickly, is that bad use of like water and energy and stuff?
Oh, yeah. For sure. But that's because I think that it looks like that he just did it with the dishwasher empty. I think the good use of water and energy would be to have a fully stacked dishwasher and just sort of wedge it in next to a plate. And that way it's basically like no extra energy consumed, but you're cooking your steak. The fry... Yeah,
this book... Sorry, carry on.
No, I'm really... Like, this is a very low stakes, if you'll pardon the pun, story and section of the podcast. I can be interrupted any time.
Well, I was just going to say we had a conversation in Slack, like immediately after the PM's announcement of the in-principle decision to move Auckland to the traffic light system on the 29th of November. We had a Slack conversation. We were talking about the fact that we can now, as of sometime very, very soon, I don't catch the exact time, we can have like 25 people in our backyard from 25 different bubbles if we want.
Correct.
But you can't have them in the house. And therefore, if you are doing food prep in the house, you're on your own, you know. Only you and your bubble can prepare all the food for all those people. And then you got to do all the dishes. And it just, there's some logistics I just don't think have been thought about because I don't want to, I mean, I don't have 25 friends, but I don't want to cook for that many people.
Well, so on that, I think that the government is assuming that that's a natural limiter on how many people you'll invite over because, yeah, you can have 25 people, but you better really like washing up. And the second part is I think that is the downside, right? The upside is having 25 people in your house sucks.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And I would almost rather just have them be outside, be their feral selves. And if I'm just taking in their detritus and washing it and even like cooking for them in there, I don't have to be self-conscious about how my house looks. Like I almost think on balance it's better.
Is that how you... I say detritus. Oh, do you say detritus?
I say I mispronounce so many words because I read them when I was young and made up a pronunciation. And I grew up in London, in the UK.
You could be right. I have no idea.
The one I found out recently was that harbinger is harbinger.
No.
Yeah. Debbie Schwer, Debbie from accounts told me that, and it really fucked me up.
Bunch of dummies. Okay, so no, you're right. Okay, that's good. That makes me feel better about it. I don't want anyone in my house. I don't want anyone in my loo.
No.
I actually don't want anyone in my garden either. And I do think it's a bit discriminatory to people who don't have yards. Like, what if you got lots of friends but you just got a tiny 2x1 balcony on your apartment?
Well, even then, you're not even supposed to have
They couldn't go there anyway unless they blooming abseiled from the roof down or... Yeah. Anyway, let's guess. There's no perfect way to do it, is there? Okay. What else happened? This is great.
I like how you say what else happened as if there's anything that happened on this
big news. In the big news, US President Joe Biden audibly broke wind during the, how do I say this? Is it COP26, COP26 event? And while he was speaking with Camilla Parker Bowles, Duchess of Cornwall. This is
the only real news. Like this is an all-time real news story.
It's so good.
It's so beautifully written too. Like credit to the Daily Mail. They obviously put their best person on this, and it's just very, very funny writing.
A source, and I don't know who this source is, someone extremely close to Camilla who wanted to comment on it because...
It's Prince Charles, right? Like it has to be.
This has to be, based on what has been said, which is that Camilla has not been able to stop talking about the ageing president's long fart since he unleashed it in her company last week. Now, if she's been yabbering on about it all week, the source has got to be someone who's been with her all week, and that can only be Prince Charles. So I love that Prince Charles has got like a burner, not Prince Charles at gmail.com, and he's getting in touch and releasing this great news.
But there's just so many good lines in it. Like, you should almost just read the whole story. I think it's like a masterpiece.
I mean, I think I've read the first 2 lines, but I'll carry on. It was long and loud and impossible to ignore, the source told the outlet. Camilla hasn't stopped talking about it. It was a tough day for Biden, who had earlier nodded off during opening remarks at the climate change conference. The 78-year-old closed his eyes for 22 seconds before an aide appeared to jolt him awake.
I can so relate to that.
The day after his gaseous faux pas, Biden's administration launched a plan to reduce methane emissions, a potent greenhouse gas that contributes significantly to global warming.
That's basically as far as you need to go. The other thing is the photo editing on this is extraordinary because they've got a side-by-side of Camilla, like she's obviously like, I don't know where they found this thing. It's kind of a grainy shot, but she looks like she stepped in dog poo or something. It's just a really tortured look on her face. And then it's a really tight shot of Biden, and he's got this like cheeky grin, completely different lighting. The photos make no sense together, except they just perfectly illustrate this kind of who the fuck knows whether it happened story. And Biden's got this like, yeah, I did it. What are you going to do about it? Kind of look on his face. It was just pure joy, that story. I really, really needed it.
Yeah, it was a great story. There's more poo news. This actually happened in July, so I don't know if you'd call it news so much, but I think that there's an investigation happening into it now, which is why it's popped up again. But poo from a plane. Everyone's absolute... I don't know about you, Duncan, but I walk around when I'm outdoors, which is never. And partly because I don't want poo to drop on me from a plane.
Is that why you're wearing that hat?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
That's disrespectful.
A man in Windsor, England, was minding his own business.
So to speak.
He's just minding his own business.
They know how to write in England,
When he was hit by a surprise deluge, just to be clear, not an expected one, a surprise deluge of poo from the sky. His whole garden was splattered in a very unpleasant way, a local councillor reported. He had a really horrible experience with the whole garden and garden umbrellas and him being covered in this, which is absolutely dreadful. She says she hopes it never happens again. Well, if lightning doesn't strike twice, does poo drop twice? I don't know.
I don't want to talk about the story. This is too much poo even for me. It's disgusting.
I didn't read the full thing, but I glanced at something where it said that normally poo's frozen or something.
Well, there's I think it's kind of apocryphal, the idea that aeroplanes are constantly dropping frozen poo. I think basically that it might freeze and then be taken out and put into some sort of sewage system. This was supposedly a cargo plane that initially denied it, because I did read the whole story, but subsequently admitted that it might have happened. But I think the thing that you fear, I don't think is really a thing. The idea that there's just aeroplanes are just constantly just dropping out giant frozen turds over land. I'm not sure that's actually...
You say that, but I remember when the story started floating around about this this bat disease in Wuhan, you know?
Yeah, that's definitely the same thing.
Look, the unexpected sometimes happens, Duncan, that's all I'm saying. I'm actually, by the way, going crazy. Like proper crazy.
Jane is in like a new location, which I'm not sure is in her house, and she's wearing this funny hat, and she seems to be reading an iPad really close. I don't think
like
it's not true what she says about her current state of mind.
I'm not reading an iPod close. I'm filming a concert.
Yeah. And it's got like a keyboard on the back. For a while, I thought you were just holding up a keyboard. just like showing off. My house. I've got a keyboard, Duncan.
I'm in my bedroom. I'm in my house. I'm in my bedroom. I'm next to the fireplace.
You got a fireplace in your bedroom?
It doesn't work. In fact, it leaks water in, so it does kind of the opposite of what it's supposed to do.
Still cool.
Okay, this is good. Critically endangered American bird reproduces that having to deal with men. I mean, that's the whole story.
Yeah.
There's a bird who scientists found 2 unfertilised eggs hatched back in the 2000s. Neither chick had a genetic link to the male condor. So that is just evolution, natural selection. Progress, that's what I say.
Science corner.
Science corner. Ladybirds not needing man birds. It's only a matter of time. Birds come from dinosaurs. We all come from dinosaurs, right? At some point or something. So it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time till you guys are gone.
Again, I've got nothing to contribute to that one. It's great. It's good though.
Right. Let's have a break. We'll be right back with some scintillating real-life stories for you.
Scientists are leading the conversations about the future of Aotearoa and the biggest challenges of our time, our land, ocean and climate, our physical and mental well-being, our food health. It's never been more important to understand science. At the University of Otago, you'll study alongside world-renowned experts and researchers. Explore your postgraduate options now. He heringa tangata, he tūhura kōrero. Find out more at otago.ac.nz/PG Sciences.
Welcome back to the Real Pod.
Oh, God.
What? That's fine. That's fine.
It's like
Leave it in.
Pinocchio.
Leave it in.
It's Pinocchio before he was taken on little boy form. You're just a wooden puppet. I charged Duncan with the task of welcoming us back from the break, and I don't know. Was that a welcome? It was something.
Yeah, like...
Try again.
No,
just put some warmth in it.
Welcome back.
Much better. I love it.
I don't know how to do that stuff. Jane, that's why your role is like we're lost without you, you know?
All right. I'm here for it. What's been happening in your world, Dunk?
What did I do?
Have you got nothing? Have you been out in the garden?
No.
Have you... Any planes gone overhead? Been for any recreational activities? Picnics?
I've got nothing.
Wow.
Jane, tell me about your life.
I mean, I don't have a lot more than that, but I did groom Pickle on the weekend, and it was bad.
Like groom as in wash or groom as in shave?
The big wash and shave, the whole shebang. Brushed him, tried to brush out, he's very matty. When I got that dog, I wanted a dog that wasn't going to shed hair everywhere, was good with kids and so on. So I did my research. Just do your research. And I got this little dog, and everything on the internet said requires regular grooming, as in like you need to brush it every day or every second day. And I was like, that's not that hard. Like I can brush my hair once a week. I just need to
There's
step
a
it up
lot of hair on
there.
that dog.
Duncan, do you know how often I brush his hair?
How often?
Probably really enough that someone should send an animal person around to take him away. He was so matted. And I don't know if you've ever dealt with a matted dog. It was just a nightmare. And now he looks like one of those rescue dogs who is like when they post them on Facebook and they're all looking extremely scraggy and unevenly cut because the mats have all been so close to the skin. And
so did you have to cut the mats out?
I cut a lot of them out by hand. You can't really run the clippers through. Like I've got proper clippers and everything, you know, because I was going to do a great professional job. Oh my God, he looks like an absolute nightmare.
Can you post
he looks like one of those dogs. Turns up on the internet saying, we found this dog clearly been neglected, full of scabies and worms and things, and was severely matted, and we've tidied him up. That's my dog who has a home. And people who love him.
Yeah, but you've got like 3 kids and like it's a lot.
You should see their mats.
We had like severe dreading problems in both our children for a long period of time. Only just starting to get through that now.
They're matted.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. I have dread problems with my children too. It's a different kind of dread. Just a daily kind of a wake-up dread. I've also been, I'm really getting into bread. I know that I'm quite late on the
baking bread.
Lockdown bread trend of 2020. I've been baking bread rolls for a long, long time, but I've started, like, the problem with me watching Great British Bake Off, Great British Bake Off, and the Great Kiwi Bake Off is that I want to make all the things. And I've been really inspired by the bread making. And so I've been making lots of bread and eating it all.
Well, that's...
Is that a story?
I mean... No.
Jesus, this podcast is the worst podcast.
Yeah. Well, I think we did all right in the first half, and it's just falling apart now.
It's really fallen apart.
I sort of thought that... Yeah, no, we can. I guess I thought with the real life thing that... Because I had like such a good one last week, so much stuff had happened, that...
Oh, hang on. Are you going to say it was to fall on me?
No. I sort of assumed that you didn't have to prep for the real life part, that you just talked about your life. And then I came in and I was like, I don't know if I did anything.
2 things that have happened in my real life that I haven't mentioned. Number 1, oh my God, actually, no, I've got a classic story. Delete the other ones.
No, that's good.
Number
That's
1.
good. For those who stuck around, for the real hardcornies who stuck around, thank you.
Firstly, I want to mention, I put it in Rec Room last week, but I did get a coffee recently for the first time in lockdown. The first time I went in level 3 and got a takeaway coffee, and I did not know how to talk to the people who were serving me. I forgot how to use the pay thing. And I've obviously been using my card at petrol stations and at the supermarket and so on. But for some reason, having someone interface with you in kind of like such a regular, normal life kind of a way, I didn't know what I was doing. And it was exceptionally disarming. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean. Okay, and then this is the real good story. This was so real pod that when it happened, I was like, oh my God, just real podded my trip to the doctor. I had to go to the doctor. I had to do it in person, had to be checked in person, which in itself was just a crazy situation. Doctor's all in scrubs, she's like all masked up, the doors open to let ventilation through. And she's like, it's just going to have to be like this forever. We're just going to have doors and windows open all the time. And at the end of the examination, oh my God, I can't believe I got off and I was like, I should sanitize. And she had some sanitizer right there, right? So I sanitized and then I was rubbing my hands with sanitizer and just sitting back down to have our debrief. And the sanitizer was not evaporating.
Oh, no.
Because 'twas lube.
Oh, Jane. You really buried the lead. Wow. How was that not the opening bit for the stories? That's amazing.
I forgot. I forget everything. But yes, at the time, the first thing I did was, once I left the doctor's, was text Alex and say, just sanitize my hands with lube at the doctor's.
So did the doctor know what you were doing or point it out? Or did you like wipe it off? Or how do you get out of that?
Okay. I looked at my hands and then I looked at the bottle and I saw that it said like lubricant. And I was
do you think the doctor might have thought, oh, I guess she's got dry hands or...
No, I there's a part of me that thinks the doctor saw it unfold, but it all happened quite quickly. And I think she was probably doing that dance in her head of, should I say something? I don't want to embarrass her. If she doesn't say anything, maybe it's fine. You know, but while she was doing that dance, I just went, oh my God, I just tried to hand sanitize myself with lube. And then she laughed and she turned on the tap for me too. And then I was like, you're going to have to sanitize the top of your lube now. God, it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare, but worth it for the story.
Yeah, absolutely. You couldn't have engineered a better real pod story than that.
Yeah. Tell you what though, it does bring up something I think we all need to be aware of. So used to hand sanitizer now. Be very careful. You could have some blooming bio warfare going on with little bottles of what appears to be sanitizer.
You know what?
People aren't even questioning it.
I don't think that is something we need to be aware of.
Is it not?
No, because if you sort of take that, then you have to be worried about like your food chain security and like people could just ship cars without. Basically, the whole world is a death trap if you've got malign intentions.
Poo could fall from a plane.
Yeah, that's something that this man says happened.
The difference is it's such an automatic thing for us now to use hand sanitizer. That's what I'm saying. That we don't even give it a thought. We just walk in and we pump some lube into our hands and rub them together. And like that could have been acid. That could have been the end of my hands. And that is the end of our podcast.
We made it.
Kind of.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not sure that I've made it.
It's really nice to see you in your funny hat.
It was just the beginning of the end for me.
We had a good time.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. A, for putting up with this. B, for putting up with us always. And C, for tuning in next week, which you are definitely going to do. Thank you, Duncan. Thank you, T.I. here. Thank you, Tara Ward. And in absentia, thank you, Alex Casey. She will be back. Anything else?
Thank you, Nando's.
Thanks, Corns.
Nando's.
Thank you, Nando's.
They came back. They came back for us. And
this
is all we are right now, unfortunately. But they know. They know we're better than this.
It's going to be okay, everyone. It's going to be okay. In principle decision. It's going to be okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Are you curious about how business can be better? I'm Simon Pound, and I host Business is Boring, a podcast where I kōrero with some of the most interesting people in entrepreneurship, commerce, and making things happen. Tune in to Business is Boring every Tuesday, brought to you by the Spin-Off Podcast Network in partnership with Spark Business Lab.
Kia ora e te iwi, Te Aihe Butler here, podcast manager at The Spin-Off. If you enjoy listening to our podcasts, consider supporting our mahi by signing up to become a Spin-Off member at thespinoff.co.nz/donate. The Spin-Off Podcast Network.